This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, so welcome once again. We have just started the recording. As I told, I started my career with the Shoni Networks, building broadband gateways. Was about worked there for about 2 years, primarily focusing on the network protocols, embedded firmware, some of the solutions which gets into the networking, routers and bridges. And then subsequently, after 2 years, I moved on to HP, Hewlett Packard, where I spent about 7.5 years, primarily working on HP's inkjet printers. All of you know HP has got different family of printers. I was part of the inkjet firmware team. In my first company, since I came from the networking background, I continued in the similar area where I worked on various, in printer, I used to call it as a connectivity or IO, which includes Bluetooth, USB, Wi-Fi, and of course the real 802.3 or 802.11, which is Wi-Fi and wired ports. I worked on different layers of networking and connectivity, which includes device drivers, then the embedded middleware, application, and stuff like that. Cloud computing or a cloud print. So I worked with that particular team for overall about 7.5 years. By the end of that, I was a manager in HP. That's when I quit HP and I went to another company called Huawei. So in Huawei, I was a senior manager, joined their embedded Linux team. Many of you will know Huawei. It's a Chinese telecommunication company. When I joined, there was an initiative going in Huawei where they want to unify all their products into Linux because some are running in the proprietary operating system, some are running in other RTOS like VxWorks, etc. So they want to unify into Linux due to many obvious reasons like open source and license free, customizable, safe, and other benefits. In case if you're not exposed to Linux in this particular course, you will extensively learn about Linux. In fact, our whole learning platform is built around Linux. So that's when I was working there for about 3.5 years. Overall, about 12.5 years I spent in these three organizations. And after that, I quit Huawei and then joined Emergy. Emergy is more started by my friend in the year 2003, which means we are in this education segment for about 18 years now. And I always had the passion and interest towards education domain. And also we wanted to do something on my own. That's when I quit and joined the Emergy, so which means I'm one of the core members. Along with me, we have a couple of more folks in the management who primarily drive this organization. One of my, another colleague is called Mubin, so he primarily gets the technical delivery part. And myself, I started in technical delivery, of course, given that my background is technical. But later I moved on to play other roles. For example, currently I lead the placements initiative from University. And also, over the years, I contributed in the business side, which includes the marketing and sales and stuff like that. So that's what I do in the Emergy role. And as a company, we really look forward to get into the online learning space. Thanks to the pandemic, even though we had initial plans, we launched this particular live program, which you guys are now part of. Added to that, we are also looking forward to launch self-learning courses, which is recorded. Recording means it cannot be done like that. It should be scripted and all those things, right? So we are working on those initiatives as well. So that's what I do in Emergy and my background and what the company does, right? So now I'd like to pause here and take your introduction. I would like you to type a brief about yourself. I assume most of you are working professionals, but that may not be true because some of these students also who wanted to do this course along with their curriculum and 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. kind of helps them to take it up after the classes. That also works for them. So whatever may be your background, you can type yourself. And in case if you have some work experience, you can just notify, let me know which technology you are working and how many years of experience you are having, right? That would help me to build a perspective since I also lead the placement side, right? Give me a perspective. So please go ahead and introduce yourself, right? Please, I'll type it. So good evening. I could see Dia joining. Okay, good evening, Dia. So we are Channa Basappa, G. Bellahar. I hope I'm getting it right. I'll call it Channa Basappa. He's a 2019 pass out in ECE. Good, Channa Basappa. May I know which college you graduated from? And we are Shiva Kumar. Is working in electronics and manufacturing industry. Good to know, Shiva. May I know which company you're working and how many years you've been working? Okay, it's called SKSBMACET. Wow, it's a long name. Jadad, I hope a couple of your classmates also there. Please go ahead and introduce yourself also. In the meantime, let us hear others' introduction as well. Go ahead, guys. Yeah. Then we have Praveen Gowda Patil. He's also from the same college. And Abhishek also from the same college. Great. So Shivakumar says he's from Micron. Okay, got it. Micron from Bangalore. Okay. And then we have Sachin BM, who says Telecommunication Engineering 2020, Dr. AIT College, Bangalore. Great. So Sachin and Shiva, you guys are working, or you quit your jobs, or still working and doing your course? You can throw some light, that would be helpful. So then we have Dia. She's in third year. Very nice, Dia. We had a introductory embedded system in last semester. So I'm keen go to deeper the subject with this course with projects. Very happy to know Dia, somebody joining the third year itself. Because by the time you complete your engineering, when you complete your, I guess you'll be passing out in the year 2022. By the time your friends, when they start looking out for their jobs, you'll be way ahead in terms of the skills. That's very good to know. Okay, it would be good if you can share my college name as well. Okay. Then we have Mithun. Is working in Alien Relays division. Completed BTech, Applied Electronics. Good to know, Mithun. How many years you've been working? That would help me. Then we have Saravanan. He's from 2020 Adi Parakshakti College of Engineering, working as a associate software engineer, adaptive platform. I joined last month only. Okay, fine. So you joined and then you are doing along with the job. Good to know, Saravanan. Then you have Basavaraj from the same college. Good to know that. There are 4 classmates, right? Sunil Kumar. He completed MTech from 2020, Dayanand Sagar. Good to know, Sunil. Did you work somewhere from 2020? Then we have Ravi Kishore,
No, sir.
ECE from, okay, you can type, no problem, you can type. Okay, so Ravi Kishore says he's a 2020, sorry, he didn't put the graduation year. He's currently working in entity data, web development using ASP.NET and Core and Angular. Okay, fine, got it, Angular in the front end. How long you've been working, Ravi Kishore? So then we have Padmini Patel joining from Bhubaneswar, studied in Bhubaneswar, working in Hexaware, manual tester. Okay, fine. Air Canada. Good to know that. Bennett University. Okay, where is this located? Let me Google it for you, or you can let me know, Dia, okay, which place it is located. We have Janaki Raman. Is again from ECE 2020 Adiparasakti College. Okay, good to know, Janaki Raman. I guess your other friend is from your same. I could see another somebody from the same college, right? I think Saravanan. Hope you guys are classmates. Uh, I could see both of you joining together. I could see in the video. Uh, then we have okay, Shivakumar, Micron SSO, right? Okay, Micron. Parallelly, looking forward to indeed design and development career. Good to know, Shiva. You're still working and want to switch over from manufacturing side to the development side. Good to know that. And then we have Padmini. Okay, 3.6 year experience. Okay, good to know that. Then we have Kiran. He's working in Chennai and Valio. Okay, good to know, Kiran, because Valio is also one of our recruiters. And then he's working in annotation. I did my bachelor's in ECE from MBITS Kottamangalam, Kerala. Good to know. Okay, Dia is from Greater Noida. Wow. Okay, your name of your university, Dia, sounded was somewhere in Andhra. Okay. Okay, Ravi Kishore says 5 months is working. Great. Then we have Varshini from ECE East Point College. Good to know, Varshini, because East Point is also, we had so many students in the past joining us. And, I hope, I don't know whether you know some of your classmates who studied with us that time. I don't know that would be. So currently working in Capgemini as a Java developer. Great. Good to know that, Varshini. Did all of you introduce yourself? Let me just go through. Yeah, Sachin. And we have Shrish. I think Shrish did not introduce. Shrish, are you there? Maybe she's shy. I don't know. Okay, good to know. As you can see, we have a very diversified set of people here who are in their engineering, who are doing this course, and then who just graduated, and people who have work experience in the, okay, we have Lokesh going for the introduction. He's a BECE from PES, okay, PES College Mandia, 2019, and worked as a ETL developer. Yeah, very good, Lokesh. Thanks for your introduction. Incidentally, our placement manager, our manager's name is also Lokesh. Okay? So for a second, I thought placement manager joined our introduction or what, right? Okay, good to know that. In Wipro is working. Good to know. Okay. So thanks for your introduction. One last question before we get started. Just tell me in one word, how did you come to know about Emergy? Okay, how did you join? You can say online search, or you can say my friend told me. Can you just tell me how did you come to know about Emergy? Okay, by Chrome. Okay, you searched YouTube, friend reference, friends. Okay, friend, friend, my elder sister. Okay, by one of your alumni. Very good. Okay, online search. Okay, no. Okay. Did anybody, when you say your sister, your elder sister, Ravi Kishore, did she study in Emergy only? Ravi, by any chance? Because that also happens. Oh, wow. What's your sister's name? Ravi Kishore, if you don't mind. Yeah, Padmini says friend. Hemashri. Okay. Your Hemashri's brother. Okay, I remember that. Okay. Think, Google search. Okay, great. Yeah, thanks for your, because I'm always curious. But if you see largely, whenever you said it's somebody referred you, right? Either it's a friend or a your sister or somebody, right, alumni who referred our place, which is always very good for me also. It feels very happy in a way, very proud in a way, because when there is nothing more powerful than an alumni vouching for it. It means that they have come here, they studied our course, and they've seen the value. Okay, that's why they're recommending to you. Am I right? Okay, so my request is you can also become the same. Okay, you study, achieve the goal that you have come here for, and then you can also refer, right? So that's the whole idea. So more of a trusted network is what we believe in building. Okay, so that's it, guys. Okay, let me just start our presentation. Okay. So as I told you, we are, we established in the year 2003, and we started off as two areas of focus. Education has been there from the beginning, and we also done some product development and some consultancy in the areas like embedded systems and IoT. In fact, we built some products in agriculture IoT and also in the areas like industrial IoT. But later we felt, as a company, we are like, getting into two areas of focus, which is hard for us to, proceed. So then around 2015, we kind of, closed our or paused our project development, even though we do get requests from a lot of companies to do some development or consultancy. We don't do that. We pretty much focused on education. Okay. And as I told, good number of us have work experience, and then we started this particular thing with a lot of interest and passion, because we see there is a depth of skill development. Because majority of you, whether whatever the phase of your career, you guys have got an amazing knowledge. You finish your engineering. Some of you have done masters, right? So, but what happens is, you may not have the necessary skill. Okay, so please see Emergy's journey is a journey which starts from knowledge and ending up in skill, okay? Where you learn how to apply that particular skill and move on, right? And Emergy is one of the accredited or affiliated institutes. We call it a training partner with the National Skill Development Corporation, or NSDC, which is one of the organization under that, one of the organization called Electronic Sector Skills Council of India, or ESSCA, which means to say the course that we do is will get certified by the ESSCA. And if you are a little bit getting confused with NSDC or ESSCA, they both come under this initiative called Skill India. I'm sure all of you would have heard about Skill India. Am I right, guys? Did you hear about Skill India? Can you just respond in the chat? Okay, yeah. Okay, at least some of you would have heard, right? Okay. We are a Skill India program. Okay. Great. Okay. Let us move on. So if you look at the current situation, what we have been going through, at least from the last March, it has been very challenging. Ever since the pandemic has hit us, right? It is becoming quite challenging for us to think about whether the recession is coming, or some of them will say, the low-end jobs are under trouble, or you can see good number of the jobs are getting lost. Or another very big concern that we have is when it is going to end, because good number of us got affected because of the pandemic. I myself got affected, right, along with my family, and some of you might. And very unfortunate thing is some of them might have lost some of their near and dear ones, right? It could be your friend, especially the second wave. If you see, right, the people who are in their 20s and 30s, who are very healthy, they lost their life, just because a week or so they were a little bit. Careless, right? By the time they got into the hospital, it was quite hard, right? So, but having said that, according to us, we also need to think about what can we do about the situation and who can help me, to get ahead and then get better at it, right? So that's the approach we are taking. And believe me, if you look at historically, okay, every recession that we have seen, okay, whether you call the 9/11 attack has happened in the year 2001, when we were kind of completing our engineering degrees, kind of scenario. Before that, there was this something called as Y2K problem, where the year 2000, they were fearing that the computer might behave in a crazy way when the year becomes 00, because only 2 digits are allocated for the year. So a lot of such manual jobs we are doing. But if you look at the post 2001, is where almost all the MNCs in India, especially the product development companies, started opening up their R&D centers in India in a big way. If you look at the IT or tech industry over the past 30 years, if you look at 1990 to 2001, that what do you call the first era, right? Or when people like Narayan Murthy and Azim Premji, or even HCL for that matter, they started. That you can say as a first era. That's when the whole service company started doing. So they were more working in an outsourcing model, where even a company like HP or Intel or Cisco, they were actually giving the work to Wipros and Infosys, and they were getting done, right? But what happened post 2001, they also figured it out that it's not only that the Indian engineers are coming in a cost-effective manner, they're also very smart in engineering disciplines. So that's when the whole lot of R&D centers. If you look at historically, around 2001 is when the majority of the companies started investing more in India. Previously, they used to give work to Wipros and Infosys, but later point in time, they started opening up their own centers. That's what you can call it as a first scenario, right? Then, if you look at another 7 8 year down the line, around 2008, that's when the whole Lehman Brothers meltdown has happened, and then that has led to a lot of venture capital money flowing into India. If you just go back and trace, like companies like, for example, Flipkart, right? And then we have companies like even Zomato. They're all getting created around the same time. And if you look at the market, right, recently Zomato even went and listed as an IPO, right? So it's more of an Indian startup success story, right? And we are in a 2020 where we really don't know, wait and watch, right? That is a scenario that we have been going. But I would say largely as I told, every challenge has resulted in more jobs or something resulted positively. We also can confidently now say, even though the pandemic has not gone out of the window, from the job market perspective, we are seeing excellent traction in terms of jobs. Especially in the embedded segment, I can talk about, right? And companies are struggling to hire people, right? They have openings. For example, if a company who are recruiting, they can come with us and say, hey, I want to hire 10 engineers. But through our emergency students, probably they are able to fill only 4 positions, which means to say what, 6 positions they are not able to fill. It's not that they don't want to put anybody in the six-member team, right? You get some of your experience, right? Even though your experience, unless you have that particular skill, you cannot directly get into this job, right? So that's what I mentioned, right? What is the differentiating factor? It's the skill. Okay? So if you are having the right set of skill set under your bucket, whether you are experienced or you are just like out of college, this program which you are signing up for will definitely put you in the core job. And somebody want to transition from manufacturing to development, etc. Whatever the goal that you come here for. Okay. Okay, this is one part. Then the second part is in terms of statistics, right? If you look at what we have been seeing in Emergy, okay, this is the what do you call the real-time dashboard, what you can say, because some of you would have already did our, as you said, good number of you would have done a Google search, and probably would have seen our website, and even some of you might have checked our social media like Instagram, and saw those many companies are hiring, and then you can say, okay, some people are getting placed at this level of salary and stuff like that, but that's more of an outsider view, right? But now that I can confidently say you're all Emergy student from today onwards, right? Because you signed up for this course. So this data is what we actually publish in the website, okay? Because it takes a little bit of delay, because it takes some time for our team to update the website and create those pictures in social media and stuff like that. And very shortly, you will be part of a Google group where, the complete information will come to you in a much more faster pace. Okay, so you can just watch two curves here. The blue ones are about the 2020. You can see, right, the 2020 started off quite well, and then around February it was reasonably good, I would say. But March, if you look at, right, this particular number, whatever you are seeing, the 13 is number of drives, right? These numbers are nothing but drives. So when I say drives, it's something like, when a company comes and then they say they want to hire our students, we float an application with our students. I'll anyways talk about the process in the subsequent slides, right? And then they call our student for a written test or an interview. That's when we call drive. Okay? And then sometimes we only float an application and they may take a little bit more time to come. We don't count, right? So 13 drives means 13 companies have participated and they called our students for interview or a test, right? So this, if you look at closely, the 13 drives have happened around March 15th, right? But from March 15th, we had a free fall because there was a lockdown, nationwide lockdown. Companies did not have a clue. Our students were overnight, kicked out of their PGs who were staying and studying in our center in based out of Bangalore. And companies also, if you look at, they schedule their interview and they really don't know what to do because majority of those interviews used to happen face to face. They used to call them to their office and conduct the process. So it was a very, I would say, from March 15th to April 30th, it was like a black period. We really didn't have any clue, and all of a sudden we need to move our learning online. As I told initially, we had plans to move online, so we didn't have much issue in terms of moving online. But the question was always was, okay, fine, learning online is fine, okay, but by learning online, can you achieve placement? Okay? Or can you achieve a career change? What you guys are here for, right? So that's a big question we had in around the March April time frame. Okay, but what happened when the market started opening up, right, around May June time frame, we started seeing a mechanism where companies have adapted to the complete digital mode of hiring. So today you can say, for example, 95% of the companies are still operating under digital mode of hiring because they cannot postpone their hiring too long, because majority of them are product companies or engineering services companies which provides product development kind of a activities for a bigger clients, right? So they cannot stop, right? It's not purely a software based one where there can be some decision making which can go here and there. Since companies invest heavily in the hardware, they cannot postpone their hiring activities. So then what happened, we saw reasonable growth by the time we ended the 2020. It was fine, okay. But if you look at 2021, the story has been absolutely great. Even though we started off little slowly in 20 January, even I was a little bit cautious because we closed 2020 with around December time frame, you can say around 20 drives. I was little bit worried. I used to talk with our placement manager Lokesh to closely keep a watch. But what happened from I would say from February March, right? We could only see the curve is always going high. If you look at, for example, in July alone, we have done 37 drives. Okay, 37 drives, and if you ask me, 55 applications have been floated. 55 companies came, only 37 conducted the drive, which means say what, another whatever 18, 20 naturally gets pushed to the next month. And as of today, as we speak, today is at 19th of August, right? We have done already 20 drives. Okay, so hopefully this will either at least reach this level or it may go up also. We don't know, right? So that's a kind of a growth we are seeing. Okay, so yeah, the reason why I'm sharing this particular information is to be open and transparent. Even if you look at our website, the information and data, you can check with whatever the information I'm sharing. It's pretty much the same. Okay? We keep our placement data transparent to our students. Even to the hiring companies, they also know, suppose a company X is there, their competitor also hiring from us, they're fine with that. They're aware that the competitor is also hiring. Okay? So that's a motivation in which we are showing this data. And the second point that I would like to share by looking into this graph is, in terms of opportunities. For example, some of you, when you signed up for this course, I'm sure you would have had some interaction with our admission team. I would have spoken to Asma and some of the other team members. Definitely, there will be some questions in your mind, saying that will I get enough opportunities, right? Will I get enough opportunities? Okay, so this is the question that you might have had. So my request to all of you, irrespective of your year of pass out, irrespective of your work experience, right? Okay, I would say absolutely nothing to worry. Okay, as I already told, we have more companies are coming and they're not able to hire. Okay, the demand versus supply, if you see, the demand is higher than the supply. Supply means quality supply. That way, if you see in India, we have 1.5 million of engineers graduating every year. That's not the, I'm talking about the supply. I'm talking about the skilled quality supply, which is what we are part of, right? As an organization, we enable you guys with skill building, right? So from that perspective, you see, you don't need to absolutely feel worry or get concerned with will I get enough opportunities, right? Rather, my question always be, okay, fine, you are given this opportunity, but how well you can capitalize on that? How well you will be able to demonstrate your capability and then ensure that you achieve your first job or the career transition which you're looking for, and that is very much possible. Okay, so this is the first level data that I wanted to give you, right? And then the second point I would like to share you, and then I'll pause and take some questions. I'm sure a lot of you will have questions about this. Let me rub this. Okay. So let me take a fresh slide and explain you what I'm talking about. So let me go into the slide. So other point I would like to talk or explain about is the placement duration, right? So for example, let me draw a line. Okay, let me draw a line like this. So you guys are joining us in August. Please, as of now, you are joining in August 2021. You are joining, right? It's a 4.5 months course. Here and there, let us put another 2 weeks. Let's say 5 months course. If you are starting in August, you like, for example, September, October, November, December, Jan, right? Jan, you will be completing your course. There is nothing but Jan 2022. Jan 22, you will be finishing your course, right? And what happens in with respect to placements is you can start applying after the third month. That is somewhere roughly here. You can start applying. That is once you finish your Linux C and C++ module, you can start applying for placement. So your placement will get started from here. And when with respect to our placement support, we will support you till 1 year after the course completion. For example, if you look at you're finishing your course in Jan 2022, we will support you with opportunities till January 2023. And if you just look at a simple mathematics, right, this is like a 12-month window which you'll get. Okay, and then here you can put roughly around 3 months. I will put roughly under 3 months. And maybe 2.5 months or something like that, right? So net what you're doing is, for example, put together, you'll get 15 months of placement support from us. And in these 15 months, we are not going to restrict you from how many opportunities you are getting. Okay. So even if you look at from a standpoint, because some of you might have the fear or some of you might have a question that saying that, oh, I'm a 2018 pass out, right? Will I get enough opportunity or not, etc. Right? So we have done a statistics. We analyzed the data over the past, a few years, and then only we are able to confidently say, this is the level of placement support we are going to give. Okay. So one, I'm telling you what is there in the market, the graph which I shown you, where you don't need to worry about the number of opportunities. Second point is the timeline. Okay, you will get 12 plus roughly 3 months added together, more or less around 15 months of opportunity you will get, and we are not going to restrict you about the number of opportunities. Okay, so my request to all of you, the message from my side in summary is that don't worry about placement opportunities. It will come to you. Okay, rather your concern should be, yes, an opportunity is given to me, but how do I capitalize it? How do I convert that into a job or an offer letter? Right, that should be your area of concern, and that's where the skill building is going to come, which is my next section of focus, where I'm going to introduce the course and how it gets delivered, etc. But I wanted to clear this particular point in the beginning itself, because I'm pretty sure when you are signing up for the course, definitely placement is the top of your mind, how it's going to work, etc. Okay, that's why in induction I will mention this data in the beginning itself. Okay, so I'd like to pause here and take your questions. Okay, so please type in your questions. So we'll discuss that and then we will proceed further. Go ahead, guys. Please type in your questions. Yeah. Sunil says, should we prepare for aptitude also for placements? Yes, Sunil. Okay. Because some of the companies ask for the general aptitude. So I tell 3 points which you need to prepare on your own. Okay. So the first point is about the general aptitude. Let's say GA. Then second point is about, for example, your basics of electronics. Let me just say BE, because it's a little hard for me to draw using mouse, right? Basic electronics, right? Third point you need to take care of yourself is your previous projects. Now, whatever the project that you will be working in Emergy, no problem. But previously, you should have worked on any project. That could be your work experience project, or about your what do you call uh, uh, your academic project, anything, right? So these three areas you need to basically, you need to be taken care, right? Okay, so that's the whole idea. Okay. So please, if you are, you don't need to wait for me to tell to start preparing for these 3 points. I would say you can start preparing from today itself. Okay, so that would be my answer, Sunil. Hope it clarifies. Channa Baswa is asking a question: if companies put a condition of only freshers available, I don't know what you mean by that, Channa Basappa. So when we say jobs, right, whatever the jobs I showed, so we will not call this as a fresher job. Rather, we would like to call it as a entry-level jobs. Okay. So when I say entry-level jobs, typically they will consider people anywhere from zero. Okay. For example, around 3 years of experience is what we call it as an entry-level job. Okay. So there is a possibility that when you're applying as a pure fresher, right, then also you can get qualified, and with your previous experience when you apply, then also you can apply, no problem. Okay, but when you get selected, what we have seen companies doing is they can take a variety of approach. Some companies will say no, even though you have 2 years of experience in some different domain, I just can't consider, right? But we will consider you as an entry level salary only. But majority of the companies, what we are seeing is they do value your previous experience, and then they will put you in probably in a different salary level and a different what do you call, the next level band, right? So we have cases where we are seeing, there are two students getting placed with the same company, student number one and student number two. The student number one is a pure fresher who just passed out of the college, whereas the person two is like you guys, right? Some of them said I have a .NET experience and stuff like that, right? Okay, so that's a kind of a what do you call experience. That experience they consider and they put him in a slightly different salary band. Okay, that's how it works. I hope that, Channabaswa, that was your question. Okay. Then comes Yokumar. He's asking a very interesting question. In case if I don't get placed within that next 15 months, okay, what do I do? Okay. So I would put it like this, Shiva. Okay. Given our, what do you call, experience so far, and then the skill building exercise that we do, 15 month itself is a what do you call, is a long enough period, for you to get placed, as long as you are following your assignments and projects and you're working on, right? But if you don't get placed in 15 months, right, okay, what will happen is there are two scenarios. One, you are not cut out to become an embedded engineer. Maybe you're good in doing something else, right? Second thing would be our placement opportunities will expire after 15 months because we cannot support you guys beyond 15 months. Third thing would be that there is a high chances that the students have not followed the assignment and project. They just attended 2 hours of class. Anyways, I'll talk about it in my subsequent slides. Just by attending 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. this is not going to happen. Okay, let me be very clear with you guys. Okay, especially if you have working people, you will have lot many reasons to tell why you are not able to do assignments and do work on the projects. The reasons may be valid, but it's not going to help you in achieve the career transition. Okay, so these three are the scenarios which I'm foreseeing, Shiva. But on the positive side, if you follow what has been told, okay, I would say 15 months is a too long a period. Okay, before that itself, you can get your whatever career transition or a first job. Okay, based on our statistics. Okay, that's the idea. Then there's a question from Hope Channa Basappa and Shiva Kumar. Okay, yeah, great. Yeah, thanks for your acknowledgement, Shiva. So we have uh, Channa Basappa saying, sir, is aptitude included in Disha program? Okay, maybe Disha word you probably would have heard, okay, through our students, I guess. Like that's our name which we put it up for our workshops. So Channa Basappa, we try, okay, because, as I said, our mentors mainly focus you on building your skill in the embedded side. Okay, so some of the written tests, because what we do is like, in the Disha, we do a lot of activities. I'll talk about this in detail in the later slides. But since Channabasava is raising this question, let me tell you, Disha is a program where we run what you call the more of a preparation activities, which include resume preparation, how to face interviews, right? And also, if you look at the companies which are hiring, the 70% of the companies which are hiring our students are repeat recruiters. Means they come again and again and hire, right? Which means to say we pretty much know what the companies are expecting, and we even collect the questions from our previous batch of students who attended the interview, and then we create a question bank, right? And then we share it with the students, right? Okay. So now what happens in that there could be some aptitude question which our mentors try to try to explain and try to spend time, but there may not be any exclusive aptitudes coaching sessions, right? Because we are not a aptitude training institution, right? That becomes too strong load on our team, right? So that's why I'm saying you, right? These three areas we'll try. Okay, some occasions we do in Disha workshops, but these three I request you to start preparing. Okay, that would be my answer. Hope that's clear, Channabasappa. Then we have Abhishek asking, sir, are freshers and experienced people get equal opportunity to attend the drive? So it depends, Abhishek, okay, because the companies, I would say, largely, as I told, right, they're looking for, as I told, I don't want to call the word fresher, they're looking for an entry level position. For example, they're looking anywhere between the 0 to 3 years of experience span. Okay, so that way, as I told you, I cannot say the word equal, right, because, the pattern changes, and then if you look at last month to this month, the type of companies that they're hiring and what type of ERA password they're asking, right? It varies from year month to month. But if you look at from a 15-month window, if you ask me, the answer is yes. People get equal opportunity. I don't see just because you're a fresher, you'll get more. Just because you're older experience, you'll get less, etc. Right? People do get equal amount of opportunities. I don't see, as I told, right? You don't need to worry about it. Okay? I don't have a statistics in my mind to prove that, but that's what it works. So hope that's clear, Abhishek. Okay, just acknowledge, guys. Abhishek, Channavaspa, my answer. So, and still, if you have any questions, feel free to type. Okay. Then the next question coming from is Dia. So Dia says that for previous projects, what is basic minimum requirement to include in portfolio, project report, documentation? Do you have to publish it as open source? Not necessarily, Dia. For example, what I'm seeing, majority of the, since you are a student, right, they can easily relate to what I'm saying. Majority of the students, if you look at when I say the previous year project, at least if you look at an academic project, right, they end up actually buying the project. They go to a project center, and they'll tell the college name, department name, they will give the source code and everything ready, right? You just go and demonstrate, and they even give a PPT to present, right? Okay, that's not the right spirit. And even if somebody has done it, you just need to understand what you've done in your project. Okay, like somebody asked, what are the requirements of the project that you worked on? Okay, what are the technical challenges that you faced while implementing the project, right? And what are all the missing requirements you feel that you can do as you move forward? These type of questions you should be able to answer, right? People who are having work experience, they will ask questions about your previous work. For example, somebody's worked on a .NET domain, somebody worked on a manufacturing domain, and they may ask questions about that. What was your major? Because they want to understand what background you are coming from. That perspective, people will ask, right? You don't need to specifically create any documentation as long as you represent those projects, and mainly the more than the previous projects, I would say the projects which are going to do in Immersi, we can represent it well in the resume template which we'll be recommending you in the Disha workshop. That should be taken care of. Yeah. Okay, hope that clarifies. Yeah. Okay, just confirm. Okay, Okay, so Channabasappa says kindly repeat the 3 areas to start the preparation phase. 3 areas when I say Channabasappa. Okay, one is a general aptitude. Probably this is a little cryptic, so let me try to write it in mouse. Okay, this is a general aptitude, which is your mathematics and what people ask in the apti, right? Then basic electronics, for example, things like, for example, your digital electronics, integrated circuits. What you would have studied in your college, microprocessors, right? Microprocessor, MP. These type of topics, you can just refresh. So what I would suggest is like take some gate material, cat material, and start revising. Okay. Then previous projects, which includes your, it could be projects, could be an academic projects, what you have done as in your college, or you would have done some internship in some place and then gain some experience. Okay. I'm talking about before coming to Emergy. Whatever you do in Emergy, we'll talk about it. Okay, I'm talking about your other thing. Then third thing would be, since some of you are work experience people, whatever you have done. Okay, you mentioned that I work as a manual tester in this particular client, right? What did you do? What is the tool that you use? How did you test, right? And what are the challenges in testing? How do you basically file some bugs, right? And how do you classify a bug, whether it's a easy, medium, or whatever, P1, P2, P3? It will be based on that. Okay, hope that is clear, Channabasappa. Then comes Sunil, says, since I completed MTech in 2020 and B in 2019, which one should I put? Okay, you should put both, Sunil. Okay, in a template, resume template later in the Disha workshop, I'll show you. You should represent both. Okay, and let me tell you, as Sunil or anybody for that matter, okay, whatever you are, whether you had a year gap, for example, Sunil may be worried about the fact that, sir, I finished my MTech in 2020, but it's been an year, I not landed in a job, right? Similarly, some of you might be, quitting a job, and in fact, due to COVID, in the last batch, if you see, batches and all, I've seen people who were fired from their job, who were laid off from their job. Okay, so what I tell people is that, please note, all the 100% companies which they come and hire our Emergy people, it is because of the skill you are gaining. Your year of pass out, for example, it is not because of your percentage, or it is not because of your previous work experience, right? Yeah, it's good to have, whatever you have. Let's say Sunil says I passed out in 2020 with, let's say, 7 CGPA. That's fine, right? Okay, but they don't give much weightage to this. Rather, what they give weightage is what you've done in Emergy. In fact, later I'll talk about it in our evaluation system, where companies give more weightage to the merit that you're scoring in Emergy, right? How well you are doing it. Okay. So if you have concerns about 2020, I passed out, I have a year gap, but nothing to worry. Go and tell the truth, right? And we strongly, strongly discourage people to putting fake experiences, telling some stories that what would have happened after last 1 year. I tell students, whatever you are, right? Go and tell the truth. It's absolutely fine. In fact, they'll appreciate, right? Yes, I had a year gap, then I worked hard. Similarly, for example, somebody did this course along with their work, right? That's an amazing thing. Imagine, right? You need to take at least 4 hour, 5 hours of time along with your work, even though you're working from home, right? Skill building is an amazing thing that shows your determination, that shows that your inclination towards switching to your career. I will go and sell this, go and put it across to a company. I'm 400% sure that they will value that rather than seeing it as a limitation, right? Hope that is clear. Okay, Sunil, no fudging in era pass out, no fudging in work experience. Year gap is there. I come from a non-embedded background. Absolutely fine. Not even an inch of your profile we are going to modify. Rather, we are going to top it up with the embedded skill. That's what you guys are here for, right? Hope that's clear, Sunil. If you don't have any previous project, then what we should do? See, Padmini, you can put your academic project, and that's fine. Okay, whatever you have, you put it. You don't need to generate it, right? Rather, you build project from Emergy, right? In our course, you build more number of projects. Okay, let that speak. So if you look at the stack, right? Let me. I hope all of you would have understand the stack concept, right? Last in, first out concept, right? If you look at yourself as a stack, what will be there in the bottom of the stack? You will have, sorry, you'll have your academic project, and if you have your previous experience, or let us say somebody has done an internship, that particular project will be there. On top of it, you'll have your, if you have work experience, your project will be there, right? I'm telling you, just mention and ensure that you are prepared to answer these questions, because I cannot come and tell you, you prepare on your previous work experience project. That you need to prepare. But what I would say is that rather than doing all these things, show this, for example, your emerging project, which you are going to build in emerging. Okay, show this or highlight actually, this aspect of your project. So that's the story. But you can come and tell, sir, I done only one academic project, sir. Neither I have internship experience nor I have work experience. That's fine. You remove it from your resume. But in emerging, you do 10 projects. No? In emerging, you do 8 projects. No, showcase that. That is a valuable thing. In fact, the companies also, when we represent, right, we are absolutely transparent with the companies also. Okay, the reason I hope you would have got when I say 70% of the companies are repeat recruiters means what? They have tremendous amount of trust in us. Okay, Emergy as a company, and we've been in this field for 18 years. And my placement manager, location, me, we are very very particular that we are not going to bloat any profile. Okay, whatever you are. Okay, because we're not going to fudge it. And people, it's very easy, right? Use the word like you are a student, but we'll give a title cut trainee. These terminologies are very what do you call, very gray area, right? Because people will put some experience, and whatever you do as a student project that you showcase as if you worked in Emergy, put it as an internship, but nothing, right? We anytime comes and tell Sunil is a student, Padmini is a student, and Padmini has done this, and this is what her experience is from. Okay, and she had a year gap, whatever it could be. We represent as it is, and people value that. Okay, that's why they come and recruit from us again and again. Okay, in fact, you will be surprised if you say this. Okay, there are companies which come and hire from us. Okay, and they conduct a drive, as I showed you in the first graph, right? They conduct a drive, and after the drive, they come and tell, you know what, we hire 0 students from this drive. Okay, anda, right? Okay, and we are fine with this. We never go and question the companies, or we never go and bully HR saying that, hey, look at this, you took 30 students from me, you're not even hiring a single student. We never say. Rather, we go and ask the company, tell me where my student can improve. Okay, where did they do wrong? Can you give me very detailed feedback so that next time we can prepare and send them? So that's the reason, guys. I'll tell you, 70% of the companies are recruiting. So Padmini, if you don't have any previous project, nothing to worry. Okay, just tell it in the interview. Rather, you build more projects in immersive, I would say, the stack diagram which is shown. Okay, hope that clarifies, Padmini. Let us move on. Channa was a pass. Yes, yes, I'm satisfied. Your answers, great. Then Dia says, okay, sir, thanks. Sachin is asking, sir, is Python is essential for embedded systems, right? Let me clarify some things about programming language. Okay, let me rub this particular. Guys, I'm really enjoying these conversations. Okay, I hope you are. Because my idea is not to tomorrow run the slide, right? Slide, I can even send it to you later also. You can go through it. Okay, I anyways do that. Okay, because these discussions sometimes pull longer, even if 9 is the time which I try to wrap up the session. We have another hour from now. In case even if it pulls beyond that, request you to stay back. Okay, we'll ensure that we cover it. Okay. So let me just answer question from Sir Sachin. Right, he's asking, sir, Python is essential for embedded system. Before that, let me put it across one particular question. Right. Okay. The question may be, how many programming languages I should learn. Okay, this may be a question in many of the students' mind, right? Okay, because if you look at the older days of learning, if you look at the previous generation of learning these courses, things like, for example, NIIT and APTEC, they'll give one big list of programming languages: C, C++, Java, J2E, MySQL, blah blah blah. Okay, in university we always have a philosophy saying that you learn one programming language, okay, one programming language, but learn it in depth, learn it very well. Okay, in and out. And in our case, if you want me to put it across, right, learn this one language called C programming. Okay, and believe me, when you start taking our course, even though our course has got other modules which I will introduce you, it's got a what do you call in an embedded Linux, or Linux internals, microcontroller, and all. I can any day close my eyes and say our C programming, that is emergency C programming, is the most difficult module to study, because it will really rip you off, because majority of time what happens when I talk about the C programming, especially in colleges and all, when I see, right, when I use the word pointers, people will say, it is out of syllabus. Okay, Whereas if you look at embedded programming, it is all about pointers. Okay, so learn one programming language in and out of it. Okay, even if I wake you up at midnight and ask a pointer question, you should be able to answer. Okay, this is the first criteria. Okay, having said that, what we have seen of late in the market, right? It is always good to learn one scripting language. Okay, along with the programming language like C, it is good to learn one scripting language. Again, you may ask me what is the difference between programming language and scripting language. Programming language gets compiled. For example, if I say C programming, I write a program, for example, a .C program, I do a compilation. Okay, if you don't know technically, then you generate what you call star.exe. Then I go and run this. This is what I do. This is what I call the programming language. When I say scripting language, for example, I am running a Python language or anything, I don't need to compile it. I directly go and run it. There's a fundamental difference between a scripting language and programming language. That's when you say some languages like C programming, C++ programming, Java programming, they're all compilation processes there. But on the contrary, when you look at, for example, Python scripting, shell scripting, Java scripting, even though Java and JavaScript, the word Java is common, there's a huge difference between JavaScript and Java. In case if you've done a front-end programming, because some of you told about Angular, right? I'm sure you would use a TypeScript or a similar language, right? Okay, there's a huge difference. Okay, so what they expect from an embedded engineer perspective, they expected to learn one scripting language, right? Okay, so what happens is when I say one scripting language, either you learn Python, okay, or you learn in our course, we teach something called as a shell scripting. The first module, that is what you call the Linux systems, we teach something called shell scripting. Okay, because as an embedded engineer, sometimes you need to automate certain things, or if you are using a Linux as a development environment, you need to do some settings, right? You need to do some mundane task, write a script and automate it, right? Okay, you need to deploy a build. Let us say you have a target hardware, you need to deploy a build. You can just write a shell script, or a Python script to do that. Okay, so this is like your predominantly one particular language, and have this as a another side language. So Python is good to have, but more than Python and shell, guys, please focus on C. Okay. Okay. And plus, what we are already done by looking into the placement companies, right? Okay, placement companies, they also expect, some other companies expect C++. Okay, so what we've done in our course, in your course, which you're going to keep, right? We kept it C++ a little small module, because C++ again in depth, if we cover the course duration, again will bloat up. Okay, we kept it as kind of a workshop where we do it for about 2 weeks. Okay, where we mainly focus on the OOPS, right? Object-oriented programming mainly, right? So in depth of C, I would say this will take care of your 80% of your interview or programming challenges. Then either Python or shell, okay, plus this C++ knowledge. Right? This would, I would say, would be a 20%. Okay. And if you ask me honestly, TK sir, I did not study this. Okay, I did not study this at all. I'm still okay if you do C programming well. Okay, that should be my answer. Sachin, hope that clarifies. So my request to all of you is that please learn C programming in depth. So, okay, Dia's question answered. Your thing says Padmini, great. Okay, Channabasava says it's clear. Sunil says clear. Okay, sir, currently I am working in AutoSAR. This course is related to me. See, again, Saronin is asking another interesting question. Let me also clarify. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Let me rub the board. Look like this blackboard duster. Let me repeat and explain the question from Saravanan. Okay. So Saravanan is asking a question. He's working on AutoSAR. First, let me tell you where AutoSAR comes in, because some of you may be familiar, some of you not, right? But let me tell you, our course, this embedded systems course we are doing, right? We call it as an immersive certified embedded professional. Even though it is NSDC certified, we still want to keep our name, right? This is one. So this is what I call is a horizontal course. So this will give you all the modules, whatever I'm going to introduce in subsequent slides, right? Which you require in any embedded company. Okay, which means to say what, for example, if you look at our placement organizations, right? For example, some of the companies might be from an automotive domain, where the AutoSAR comes into picture, right? For example. So automotive is where you have this auto SAR coming into picture. Auto SAR coming into picture, right? So similarly, there can be a company, for example, which is working on an aerospace domain. Okay, for example, aerospace. If you look at, there are certain standards out there. Okay, there are certain standards out there with respect to aerospace. This is the kind of a standard because they need to be foolproof, right? They can't have a system with any kind of instability when you're building an aeroplane. It better be stable, right? So that kind of thing. Similarly, when you are looking for, let us say, an industry like an IoT, okay, there are tons of protocols will come into picture. It could be MQTT, it could be COAP, things like that, right? So like this, if you look at this, right, what I call these as, right, they're all, we'll call it as a verticals. This diagram is there later in my slide. I'm very happy that someone is asking. Okay. So what our course does is we don't do anything vertical specific. Okay, because we even get a lot of queries. In fact, if you look at the recent trend, it is what you call EVs, right? Okay, electric vehicles. So Ola, I hope all of you see the advertisement or the promotion done by Ola, right? Okay, so electric vehicle is the future. People come and ask, hey, can you do electric vehicle course? What we tell them is, we will train you in such a way that even if you look at our placement company, right? Some of them are from aerospace, some of them are from IoT, etc. Okay, anyways, we'll run through the client list also. Okay, so if you do this course, you can get placed in any of these companies. Why? Because as I already told, you are going to an entry level position. Okay, but once you gain experience, then you become vertical specific. Okay, where let us say you are gaining 4 years plus, 5 years plus. That's when you need to become a specialist in any one of these domains. Okay, in fact, if you ask me, many of our 2017, 18 students, right, where we place them, they're all in that experience range, 4 year, 5 year in embedded. They're already asking us, sir, is there any course for me? Right? I'm already 4 year in Robert Bosch, right? Now, how do I make a transition into next level, right? Or somebody comes and says, sir, I already work in a embedded system testing, right? How do I grow further in my, embedded testing? Do you have any courses, right? That's when it comes in. That comes probably one level above your experience level, right? 4 and 5 later, that's when you're expected to do a technical lead type of role, okay? Where that vertical specialization is given. If you remember in the beginning of the discussion, I mentioned we are trying to get into the self-learning mode of online courses, right? We are aspiring to launch that. Probably it will take some more time, okay? But that's where our courses are. Okay? So if you know AutoSAR, that's very good, especially in our microcontroller module, you will be able to relate to it. Okay? And also some of the projects are automotive. For example, there's a project called Car Black Box, etc., right? Where you will be able to relate to certain automotive use cases. Okay. Oh, that is clear, Saravanan. Glad that this question has come. Okay, great, good. If you're working on C++, very good. Okay. Then Chandrabasva says, sir, as you said, the placements start from third month. If a person gets placed in a company, he wants to apply for a higher package company. Is it possible or not? Good, Chandrabasva, good question. The answer is no. Okay. As per our placement policy, let me again draw the timeline diagram. Next slide. Let me run the people in class, they say blackboard, this is a whiteboard. So what Chandrabaswa is asking is, this guy says it's like course, right? Somebody starts at August, your course will get over in Jan. Let us take Chandrabaswa himself, right? He's a very sincere student, he worked hard. Let us say he gets a job in November. Okay. So let me make one point very clear, right? All the companies which are hiring from our Emergy, right? They expect you to join immediately. Okay, this is not like your college campus placement where they come in the previous year or the third year, second semester, they make an offer and then they wait for 1 year to join. Okay, but if you're a working professional, if you're already having a job in hand and you need to serve a notice period, we can help you. Okay, in fact, recently we had a good number of our working professionals got placed. That time we were able to explain them the reason that you are an upskilling student, then they allowed you to allowed the time, because please note, all the working guys, never quit your job without serving notice period. That is really, really unprofessional. Ensure that your previous company or your current company is helped you, they're giving you a job, they're giving you a salary, right? Whatever it may be, you like it or not, don't like it, that's a different story. But ensure that you serve your notice period at come. But if you're not having any job, companies expect you to join immediately. Okay, so when you join immediately, you're always chasing only one job. Okay, this is one scenario. Another scenario can also happen, as I told you that last month itself I showed in the graph, right? In July, 37 drives have happened in emergency. Let us say example of again Channapasappa, right? He's attending 3 interviews in parallel: company A, company B, company C. Okay, so let us say company A is giving a salary of 3 lakhs, company B is giving a salary of 5 lakhs, and company C is giving a salary of 10 lakhs. Okay, and he is attending these 3 companies together. Okay, we really don't know which offer will come. Let us say, for example, the company A has offered him. Okay, they release an offer letter to Channabasappa. Even though he attended a written test with company B or he has already cleared 2 rounds with company C, no, we will stop you attending further placements. Okay, you have to join company A. Okay, again I tell you why we do this. Okay, so I don't want, let us say, 2 people are there. Let us say, since you guys are typing, I have Channabasappa and Saravanan. Okay, Channabasappa, let us say he attends all these 3 companies, and obviously he want to have a 10 lakhs offer. Let us say he has 3 offers in case of Channabasappa. Saravanan, poor guy, for example, he's struggling to get a job. Okay, I don't want, I'm just telling an example, don't take it literally and beat me up. Okay, let us say he is not got selected in any of these 3. So what is the scenario of Saravanan? He has not got a job so far, 0 offers, right? We don't like this, issue in our institute, where one guy walks with 2, 3 job offers, another guy goes without job. We want all of you go with one job. Okay, this is one reason. Second reason, okay, as I told you, we commit a lot of things to the company, like how we are committing to you guys, right? So we say our students will join immediately. Another guarantee that we give our companies is that our student will not reject the offer. Will not reject offer. That means, say what? An offer is made, my student will join. In fact, if you don't join, we'll blacklist you. We'll come to that later. Okay, will not reject. That means, say what? Okay, an offer comes 3 lakhs, you have to go and join. There is no choice. But on the contrary, Channabasa is telling, sir, I don't want to apply for 3 lakh companies. I want to only apply for companies who are 4 lakhs and above. No problem. You can very well and say, sir, I will not apply for this company A. They're only paying 3 lakhs and minimum expectation is 4 lakhs. I'll only apply for B and C. That's also fine. Okay, hope this is clear. Okay, Chernabasappa, how it works. Okay, and other point is, suppose you get placed in the before you complete the course, another question comes, means what about my remaining modules? Let us say out of 7 modules you completed 4 modules and you got placed, right? And then you continue to work, right? You're going to join a job, right? That's the beauty of online learning. You can continue to learn in the evenings. Okay, you can come and continue in your same batch and continue the module. Okay, only thing is, you should be that way you become a working professional, right? Okay, that's also possible. From emergency side, we don't have any restriction in terms of your learning, but in terms of placements, yes, we do have these policies. Okay, I'll clarify for subsequently, but thanks for raising this question. Okay. Then we have Basappa asking another question. I've done diploma, then took a 2 years of gap, then joined VE. So my year gaps being a diploma may fail eligibility clear. Not much. Channa Basappa, sorry Basappa, because we have Channa Basappa also. Okay. Because as I already told you, right, companies come to us for the skill and the capability that you guys are demonstrating, not because you had a year gap. But in the interview, if the question comes, right, you be honest. You tell why you had a 2 year break. It could be due to some personal reasons, health reasons, family reasons. It could be whatever. But be honest and tell. But I don't see that is becoming a limitation, that is becoming a hindrance for your placements. I don't see that. Okay. Just forget about that. Focus on our course, I would say like that. Okay. Then Kiran says, I'm working in non-technical sensor labeling designation. Will the interviewer consider 2.5 years as a total experience when I'm trying to technical designation? So as I already told you, Kiran, it depends to company to company. Okay. Some companies, in fact, I would say most of the companies do value your experience, but your 2.5 years of previous experience will not exactly translate into 2.5 years of embedded experience. Okay. Some will say, okay, I'll consider half, right? Some will consider, okay, this 2.5 I'll consider as 1 year. We leave it to the companies. Okay, we will not be able to force the company. We leave to the company to decide. But they do value your previous experience. Okay, the ratio we are not sure. It varies from company to company. Hope that is clear. Channabasa cells are clear. Padmini says, so do we get the information beforehand regarding the package offer? Absolutely, yes, Padmini. Okay. Let me also show you guys. Okay. As well, this is what I love in induction. We discuss everything, then we go to slide. So let me open my Google group. So let me open this. Okay, all right. I can say forums. You can see here, right? We are, this is a Emergy Google group. All of you will be part of this particular group. Shortly, our team will be adding this information into this particular group, right? So let us take some examples here, right? You can see here, every information comes in the group. Some application you can see apply now. Apply now means a job has opened up. Once you apply, you get shortlisted, then people attend the interview schedule. You can see that, the interview schedule is happening. And then you can also see, some congratulations mail coming, who got shortlisted. The complete information comes here transparently, guys. Okay, we don't need to get concerned. So let me take an example and explain. Let us say Danla. Okay, so let us say Danla. We clearly explain all the details. What are the company? What are the URL? What the company is doing? And there are certain, conditions or some notes from a placement. And as I told, you can start applying which module. We will also specify students completed till a particular module can apply, and what is the eligibility criteria. You can see the academic criteria, and what is the salary. That's also mentioned. And if there is a, for example, bond 2.5 years, you mentioned what is the mode of interview, and how the interview process is going to work, right? Okay. Work from office or work from home will be decided by the client, because that has become an added point these days, right? Should I work from office or will I get a work from home? Okay, we purely leave it to the companies, right? It is there, and then we'll give a deadline from when we need to apply, and then there's a URL. Look at this application is open. It's today's 19th. If you just click this, this will be a simple Google form, right, where you need to fill this information, and then you need to apply. Okay. Like say, for example, here you can see this. There's also category, experience or a fresher. If you have a previous work experience, you can select this, and then if yes, how many years of experience and what role, you can fill up your brief, right, and then your registration ID, which will be given shortly. Right, this is how a typical application works. So the point I was trying to derive here is, suppose somebody tells, right, sir, 4 lakhs looks like a less salary. Or somebody says, no, sir, 2.5-year-old bond, I'm not sure, right? My request to all of you is, don't apply. Okay? There is no force on any emergency student to apply or not to apply for any company. Okay, this is one example. Similarly, we can take a lot of example. Let us say Sharp India is there. Okay, you can see here. They say no percentage criteria. Even if you're less than 60, you can apply. You can apply from, let us say, 2.18 onwards. Starting with it with 3 lakhs and then convert it into a full-time employment or extend the contract. It depends on that. And they'll become a staff engineer. They'll get started with 4.5 lakhs type of a salary. This is another example. Everything is given here. Sharp is another company, right? So like this, they have company like, for example, Capgemini, and recently there's a premium company has come. For example, there is a 13 lakhs package, Ampere Computing, and they are like 2019 and 20, right? No percentage criteria, no bond, right? It depends, vary to vary. So this information will come to you. You're all part of this group. Okay, you can see, right, every day so many. Look at today itself, right? Today itself, how many mails have come? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like it started around 11:30. Okay, 11:30, 11:55, right? So many companies have come today itself. Some are in the apply now, some are in the interview scheduling, right? We have an internship group also. Anyways, that's not your focus now, right? This is the thing. Okay, and suppose somebody got shortlisted, and then who got shortlisted? Suppose some of you apply, you can get information about who got shortlisted, and shortlisted students will get a separate intimation what to do. These days, as I told, 95% of the process happens online. You'll get a detail about things like, for example, whether you need to, what time is your interview, what time is your test, whether you should use a Microsoft Teams to attend the interview, or in set up a Google Meet. Every information will reach you. Our placement manager Lokesh will take care. Okay. So Padmini and others, hope that is clear. As I told you guys, all the information is available to you. There's absolutely no need to worry, and we'll also give you support numbers in case you have some concerns about that, or you have some doubt, or you need some help. We are there. I'll share you in the end of the slide presentation, right, about the whole support mechanism. Okay. Hope that's clear, Padmini. Okay. So Kiran says my doubt is clear. Padmini says it's clear. Is there any more questions, guys? Okay. Because I purposefully put the placement point first because all your doubts gets cleared, then so that we can focus on the course. Now that you understood almost all the points about placements, now the point is how do I reach them? That's where the skilling comes into picture. That's where my second part of the presentation will start now. If you don't have questions, you can just type no questions. You can say all questions are clear. I'll ask you, shall I proceed? Can I move to the next section, guys? All right. Great. Okay. All questions clear. Okay. Hope you are able to get clarity. Because there are a lot of questions in people's mind. Okay. Especially when you look at our website, and even some questions, some students even come and ask me, do this company really come or chuma you put logo, right? Okay. Right. We don't take it in an offensive mode because see, it's a very natural thing, right? Suppose I am going to buy a product, right? I'm going to investment time and money and then learn. We have all the reasons to question. I said ask more questions, no problem, right? Right. Okay. So what is the career growth in embedded systems? It's really, really good, Sachin. Okay, as you can see, the number of jobs itself are coming. And as I told you, areas like, for example, EV, robotics, right? They're all picking up in a big way. Okay, big way. Even for that matter, your medical embedded systems. Okay, these are all the emerging areas. Medical embedded, IoT. Okay, so it's amazing job opportunities are coming in. Apart from the traditional, for example, you take an automotive. Okay, many of you think automotive means car, right? That's an old company, right? I'm sure I'll bet you, right? Automotive is our largest recruiter because the number of changes that your car is going through, be it in form of coming up with the new dashboards or even integrating your AI/ML solutions. For example, you would have heard about things like ADAS, right? Automated driver assistance system, or even driverless car. It's all about embedded systems coming together. Okay, so it's really, really good. That's also the reason why so many companies are recruiting. Okay, so just don't need to worry about your future. It's at least set for next 20-25 years. Take it from me. Okay, you don't need to worry. All right, shall we proceed? We're not even open the slide. Okay, rather I only ran through the initial slides. Shall I proceed, guys? Chandramasama says, circuitry programming module make any difference in placements? May not be, because in our offline or the physical classroom, let me take some water. It may not make a big impact because Chandrabaswa is asking from the perspective. If you look at our offline course, that is, when people come and learn from our center, they do this particular additional module called QT programming. Again, Qt is used in an automotive segment to build the UI, lightweight, front panels and dashboards and stuff like that. Okay, I would say it's a good skill to have, but may not be a mandatory skill to have. That is one point. Second point, what happens is somebody even asked me, sir, your online course is for 4 months, okay, whereas your offline course for 6 months. Does it mean that in online you're reducing something? Yes, we are reducing QT, but other challenge that we have while we are launching the program online, right? 4.5 months or 5 months, if you see, that itself is quite a long period, guys, in online. That too, you are not seeing each other and learning through a digital medium. That's quite challenging. Okay, and the content will be delivered in quite an intense. I'll talk about it in my subsequent slides. Okay, so that's the reason why we kept this 4.5 months versus 6 months type of a differentiation between physical and the digital medium. Okay, but that will not be a differentiator for placements. Okay, if you have QT, that is good, but if you don't have QT, it's not going to harm you much. Okay, I would put it across that. All right, guys. Anyways, we're already 8:20, 8:25. Okay. Okay, fine. Let me go to the main agenda now. Okay, what we originally came about our course, placements, certification, do's and don'ts. Anyways, good number of the points we discussed, but still, I would say the skilling part, right? We did not discuss. That's what we are going to do now. Okay, so let me start the course. So as you know, Emergy is a skill building company. We start from entry level. We build skilling at various levels of working people, corporate organization, because skill building is there in all the levels, right? Okay. Mithun, there's a question typed by you. Just hold on. In the next iteration, I'll take it up. Okay. Let me just take it. In the meantime, if you have any question, feel free to type. The solution, whatever training we do, we make it two aspects. One is we ensure the highest level of quality, and we make it things practical. Okay, if you ask me our success mantra, why your friend or your alumni referred us, it is because of these two reasons. We ensure that these two aspects are not compromised. And when we do this over a period of time, people will get results. If you're a fresher, you get into your first job, and if you're working professional, you improve your skill and enhance your career possibilities, right? Or if you're a corporate company, you improve your business. Because today, improved skill set for employees means actually success in the business. Okay, it's not like a what do you call a manual work. It's all knowledge-driven work, right? It's not a physical; it's a mental work. The more skilled manpower any company has, they in fact get into a success. In fact, every company is struggling today because there are more number of jobs than what they could available in the market. Okay. So coming to the course, the idea is to bridge the skill gap, and it's a 4.5 months program. And the very important point here you guys need to note is about how this is going to get delivered. Okay, if I explain or use this particular word called virtual classrooms, it is fairly easy for you to understand because that's what we are doing now. Okay, what is a virtual classroom? There's a live session. There's a tool which we are going to use, GoToMeeting. We will be using GoToMeeting throughout the course. And then there's a mentor who comes on the other side like me. He or she delivers the particular content for 2 hours a day, right? That is 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's what you mean by virtual classrooms, right? But interventions is not something, intervention is not something which you would have heard that much often. Okay, let me explain that. In fact, when we launched this course online, even some of my friends, or even if when you do a Google search, people even ask a question saying that, hey, you know what? In Udemy also courses are available. Okay, or if you look at in our case, right? What is this? EDX is also embedded courses are available. Okay, and if you look at in the Indian context, in NPTEL also a lot of contents are available. Okay, so what is the difference? What is the difference between that course and this course? Leaving the placement apart, placement is anyways is there. Sorry, slides. Okay, so how different from these courses are, right? What differentiation you are bringing in, right? One differentiation is of course placements, right? The second, I would say, the major differentiation factor comes from this particular thing called interventions. Okay, so let me explain that. Okay, Sunil, there's a question from you. Feel free to type, guys. Okay, I'll come and pick it up slightly later. Okay, now if you look at majority of the online portals today, let us say Udemy or even NPTEL for that matter, this is how it happens. Assume the person who is there in that this person is you, okay, and then there is a picture demonstrating something. Okay, what is you can interpret from this picture? Can you type your answers from this picture? What do you understand in the context of Udemy or NPTEL or EDX? It could be any answer. Just type your answer. What do you interpret from this picture? Yes, but means there's too much information rather than exact information. Okay, overburden, too many baggages, not having foundation clear, right? Okay, so what happens today, if you look at all the courses that you have, all they have is content. Okay, it's a content which is available. And today's world, content is free, guys. Okay, today's world, content is free. Okay, you don't need to pay even a single rupee. All you need is a good internet connection and you have a good laptop, you are done. Okay, people you can even learn from what do you call online itself. You can see people who are kids, they are learning programming these days, right? But what has happened is content alone will not help. If you look at an EDX course, they'll say I'm delivering a 200 hours course, right? What is happening here is they do content push. It's like it is like feeding content after content, video after video, PDF after PDF. Okay? So what happens is today's world, right? If you look at a very simple example, I read a statistics where in Udemy only 3% of the students complete the course. I'm not talking about buying. But, if you're taking any Udemy course, course will start you 400 rupees, and they give an amazing content. I'll tell you. I myself have taken many courses from Udemy. Right, excellent contents. But still, why 3% completion rate? It is because the learner is left alone. Okay, the learner is given the videos and say, go watch. If you have doubt, you post it in the forum. I may or may not answer. Right. What we say, that's good to learn. But when you're looking at challenge like a career transition or getting into a placement and all, this approach will not work. This approach will not. What works is the picture in the right side. Can you tell me what you are interpreting from the right side picture? What are you able to interpret the picture in the right? Mentorship. Very good. Yeah. What do you mean by mentorship? Can you just elaborate, all of you? Support. Very nice, Sunil. Okay. Support or help. Excellent, Chandabasappa. Okay. Because when you're taking an NPTEL course and if you're not clear with the concept or you're not able to write a code, you cannot go and ask that IIT professor, right? Okay, or you cannot put it in the comment and expect a response. In fact, they're not what do you call liable to respond to you also, right? That is one part. Second part, majority of you, when you say about that particular thing, one very critical thing that we miss in this whole aspect is what you call feedback. Suppose I'm learning means how well I am learning. Okay, because every time if I ask you to watch a 30-hour video, all of you will watch it, no problem. Taka 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 taka, will watch, no problem. But am I learning well? Am I learning in the right way? When I get stuck, who is going to help me, and who is going to correct me when I do mistakes, right? So that's the critical part. In fact, all our videos, recorded videos, we can give. In fact, this session itself, I can give a recorded video. So what? Right? No problem. Okay. But do you get a mentor support? That's when we say, of course, content we give. Content we are not going to stop. Okay. Contents are available. No problem. But the major part is this handholding, which rightly Dia mentioned in form of mentoring, and then the support package. Support package is what Channabasappa is telling, right? That is exactly what Sunil and Channabasappa are telling. Okay. This is where our skill building happens, guys. Okay, so hope you're able to get it, right? Let me put it across in a multi-level, scenario now, right? The first level is what? Virtual classroom. Okay, virtual classroom is what? Every day 2 hours of classroom happens. That's fine. In my opinion, this virtual classroom, what you're attending, is only the 20% of the overall story. Now, where is the remaining 20% of the story happens? It's about intervention. So intervention again consists of multiple steps. Okay, let me tell you. First intervention session is all about explaining an assignment, right? Suppose I'm teaching you today, instead of induction, that is I'm going to teach you about loops. That is I'm teaching you a for loop or a while loop, right? That's what a mentor will come. He or she will explain the concept and they will show you a source code which you can type it in your uh, computer as and when he or she is teaching. You get a practice. Okay, but that practice is only 20%. But apart from the 2 hours, weekly, right, I'll tell you the certain duration where 1.5 hours, right, weekly thrice, you will get something called intervention session where the mentor will come and explain you about a set of assignments. Okay, let us say the mentor has covered till loops, right? There are 5 assignments to do. They will explain it, and then they'll tell you, okay, fine, what is the expected output from this assignment, and by when you need to submit these assignments. There will be a deadline also, right? And then let us say, as a class mentor, you move on to the next topic. Let us say I'm moving on to array, I'm moving on to pointer. They'll keep on explaining about the okay, keep on explaining about the topics, right? That's the idea. Now, what you do, you start doing the assignments now. Okay, you start writing about the for loop. Then there is a highly likely that you get stuck. Okay, you say, for example, I am only half the output is coming. or I did not understand the question itself, or you can say I got partial output, whatever it could be, right? Then you seek support. This support we are going to give, even though we are evaluated many tools, but we feel, right, the WhatsApp works best because our students are very comfortable in using WhatsApp rather than introducing any other tool. That's a second step. Then third step, which I talked about, the feedback part, right? The FB, right? Not Facebook. This is like a feedback. Okay. So these three things are important, guys. Okay. So which means to say a concept is explained. After that, a set of assignments are given. Then you ask doubt from the mentor. Then you submit. Then it goes loop. This goes in a loop actually. Time. Every topic, every module, the delivery mechanism will remain same. Maybe you are talking about a C programming or data structure programming. The subject will vary, but the methodology remains the same. Okay. Now when you're doing this, there are two type of mentors who are going to interface with you. If you look at this particular classroom session, we call them as a class mentors. This is the class mentor who have a pretty good hands-on experience. That's what Chennabasappa is having. In fact, all our mentors are extremely hands-on, right? They are going to take a hands-on approach towards the particular topic. It's a class mentor. Then this whole thing about intervention, support, assessment, etc., this is going to be handled by a lab mentor or mentors. Sometimes we even assign 2 lab mentors per batch to give you a very close attention, right? They will explain you, then you can seek support, then you can work on that, right? And believe me, guys, this is where your 80% of the story lies. Okay, that's why I told you initially itself when I think Saravanan asked me about, sir, what about even if after 15 months I don't get job, right? Even not only 15 months, even 30 months later also people may not get a job if they don't do this. Let me tell you guys, if you're coming only and attending the session, your career transition will not happen. But you need to go through this in order to achieve your goal. Then once you keep on doing it in multiple modules, then comes a polishing part, right? The last piece that comes in the picture, which we do it in the Disha workshop, right? You get placement ready, where you polish your resume and you learn how to attend the interview, how to avoid certain mistakes, prepare the previous question paper, etc., etc. That's again a final finishing touch, right? But 80% is here. So which means to say what, okay, on a daily basis, whether you're a fresher, working professional, etc., you need to spend minimum 5 hours per day totally. Put together this class, whether you stay midnight and you get up early in the morning, or you take break in between work and then do it, it is up to you. Okay? We are not here to force you and give you a yarn about how to do that, right? That's the whole thing. Okay. And what happens is, okay, once the module gets over, right? This happens for a module. Let us say C programming. Once you complete the set of assignment, in every major module, you'll be given a project. Okay. When I say project, typically a project in our emerges, as per our emerges assessment, a project takes anywhere at least around 40 to 60 hours to implement. Okay. That is the size of the project as per our estimation. So again, the project, the intervention or the lab mentor will explain the project about the requirements, and then you can seek support. Finally, you submit not only as individual assignments, you submit as a whole project, which consists of, let's say, at least 600 lines, 700 lines of code, or even 1,000 lines of code. You submit. Then they will assess you. They'll give you feedback. Okay, so that's the whole idea, right? Hope you are getting it, guys, right? Okay, when I mean by the word intervention. Okay, there are some questions here. Let me take it up. So Dia says, so if you're doing a certain project and get stuck, can you approach the mentor for that? So absolutely yes, Dia. Okay, in fact, I would say project are our major differentiators. As I already told you in terms of the stack diagram, right? Your college project, your internship project, etc. Right? In fact, your immersive project only are going to differentiate in your resume. But in order for you to do the project in Emergy, right? Okay, you need to do all the assignments. Without doing assignments, you cannot do project. And in order for you to do the assignments, you need to attend regularly. So which means to say, what is the bottom line I'm talking about? Okay, is nothing but attendance. Okay, if you are bunking the class, guys, we cannot help you. Okay, and some student will bunk and say, hey sir, I anyways manage in placement companies. Okay, anyways, I can manage in the placement companies. I can answer the interview. I've gone through the videos enough. He said, no problem. Go and attend. Who are we to stop? But what happens, majority of them, when they make such statements, they will not be able to, clear the interview process. When you work hard in emergency is like your coaching area, right? Or as a cricket or a football, or recently we did the Olympics, right? Okay, somebody is getting a gold. Okay, yeah, Neeraj is getting a gold, means he's putting a lot of hard work in the backyard. Okay, probably we see 10, 20 minutes, and especially if you're looking at wrestling, it's a matter of 3 or 4 minutes. You know that makes a difference. But behind that, there'll be 28 years of effort, right? What we see in a movie like Dangal and all, right? Same thing here. You consider emergency is your practice ground. Okay? And Divya is asking another question: are project are assigned, or students prerogative to pick? Both options are available, Divya. Okay, what we do is by default the mentor will give you some projects. Okay, let me also show you guys one thing which we recently made it online when we talked about content, right? 1 minute, let me just show you, because very important that you guys know about this also. Go to emergency.com. Later, anyways, your mentors will refer here. There is something called embedded systems. Okay, we launched this. We used to have it in our internal pool. Now we made everything online. Anybody, whether you are an emergency student, not a student, doesn't matter. Okay, this is what we call TRL, Technical Resource Library. Here, if you see, all the contents are placed here. In fact, we are also will be putting our IoT contents also, but all the embedded systems module, even the QT contents, and it's available online. Okay, suppose you are interested in, let us say, microcontrollers, right? You can go to projects. Okay. Let us say the mentor by default will assign you this one, car black box, and say, hey, Dia, do this, right? But let us say Dia is a very smart kid, she finishes it fast. And say, sir, I want to do more. Okay. What you can do, go and pick up the digital timer. No, sir, that also finished. Go and finish CAN note for automotive. No, sir, that also finished. Pick to light, finish. Even if you want another 3, 4, we can feed you. No problem. Okay. You can go pick it up, do, and they will support you. Okay, it's not that no, only one project will support. Never the case. Okay, in fact, I'm telling you, the more you do, right? Okay, the better it is. As I told you, Channa Basafa, yes, everybody is assigned the same project as a mandatory project for you to do. But on top of it, when you are, and it's an individual project, by the way, because this question will also come in interview. In fact, companies also ask me, hey, what is this here? Dia also says car black box. Channabasapa is also tells car black box. What you guys are doing? Then I tell them that the project is not a group project or not a team project. It is an individual project. Okay, so, but what are you going to talk, right? I'll tell you in the resume workshop how are you going to represent this. Okay, suppose how do Dia, by the way, guys, all of you are in this group, all of you are good friends, later you'll become very good friends. But when it comes to placements, Dia and Channapasappa, and then even for that matter, Saravanan, everybody, and Sunil, they're going to compete for the same job. You are going to be competitor, right? How do you differentiate yourself? One, build more projects. And even Diya and Channapasappa says, sir, I did the same project. How do you differentiate yourself? We'll teach you in the resume preparation workshop. But before that, that's a polishing work. Okay. But my request is go on to more projects. When I say view project all documents, right? Okay. All the artifacts are available here. In fact, your mentors will be referring to this only, right? You can go, right? There's a video. We'll put more videos coming on the way. The complete requirement is there. How the output should look like, some sample code, and then all the documentation. You can download the project specification document to get more information. It's all there. Okay. As I told you, content is never a problem. If your friend want to learn about embedded system, give this link. Let them learn. We are very happy if they can self-learn. Absolutely great. Because contents are nobody's property today, right? But the intervention and support is a critical factor, right? Okay. Hope that's clear. Chanabasapan, there are a couple of questions before. Let me finish that also before I resume the slide. So, Mithun, did you cover anything related to communication like Modbus, IEC, or IEC 61850? I am not very sure, Austin. Mithun Austin, we do cover SPI, I2C, CAN protocols. Okay, I'm not sure about exactly this. Maybe you can clarify with our mentors later. Okay. Then there is a question from Sunil. He says, sir, can we access LMS video after 4 months also, 4.5 months also for us? Yes, guys. So let me talk about the recorded videos, right? Okay, whenever you're attending these virtual classes, let me put in the presentation mode. There's saved copy. Save. later. So anytime, any session, this getting delivered under this virtual classroom, okay, all these sessions will get recorded. Okay, these sessions recorded, as Sunil said, we will be giving something called LMS, the Learning Management System. Okay, it will be hosted. I think my team has hosted this card. I think it's posted in moodle.emergygroup.com. This is a URL. You'll be given a login in the system. Okay, when you log in, you will see everything. Okay, when a class happens, it is today night. Assuming that anyway, this link, today's recording, I will give it to you via YouTube, as a private link, because it will take some more time for us to create a login, etc. Okay, it will reach you by tomorrow day after max, so you can even replay this video once again in case you missed certain sessions, because I'm seeing some of them are disconnecting and connecting back, right? But apart from that, all the classrooms, all the classes will record and go here. Okay. So in case you miss it, I don't recommend you to miss, but let us say there is a network connection issue, or there is another, some of you got stuck in a meeting which you could not attend the session or something like that, you can play. And the duration of the videos, we will definitely keep it open more than 4.5 months. In fact, we did not decide a policy about how long we wanted to keep. In fact, if you ask me, last March, students have joined, right, for the online in the pandemic as launched. I don't think we deleted from last March. All the contents are available to students. Okay? But yeah, when the server load becomes more, etc., we need to reconsider. But as of now, you don't need to worry about the durations. Okay, you can. We don't want to commit saying that lifelong access because some of them will put this, but I don't think we're removing it in any short duration. Definitely, it will be accessible to you after 4.5 months. Okay, no worries. Let us see any more questions. Okay, yeah, is clear. Is it clear, guys? Are you able to understand the delivery, how the course is going to get delivered? Are you able to understand the delivery model? Okay. Virtual classroom, it's easy to explain, but intervention is little hard to explain. Okay, great. Now, I didn't see that question coming up, but that may come up already in your minds. Okay. Second question that people ask me is, whenever I'm saying it is an embedded system, right? Embedded system means basically it's hardware. Okay. How do I access the hardware? I'm an online student. How do I access the hardware, right? This again is a very deeply debated topic in our team. When we went online, we had multiple approaches. One approach, we can tell what, guys, here are the boards, you buy yourself, right? But unfortunately, what is the flip side of it? You need to pay for it, right? You need to spend another, let us say, 2 boards we teach. Let me just go and show that. So for the microcontroller, we use this particular board called Rido Labs PIC board. Okay, so this is the board that we use to teach the microcontroller, right? Okay, you can see here, big board. It's got all the peripherals like keypad and 7-segment display, etc. Right? And this also comes with all the cable and software, the IDE, etc. Right? Suppose you're taking our courses from Emergy. If you come to Bangalore Center and learn, these boards are available with our staff, our admin staff, right? Okay, they actually give you this board. You can take the board from our reception. You can keep it in yourself, and then you can write the code, download here, debug it, and then you can give it back and go, right? Okay. Similarly, for example, for the embedded Linux, which is another module, we use this particular board called BeagleBone Black. This is the board that we use for our our physical classroom learning. But if you say, this board, we again thought multiple levels. Should we actually make you buy? But if you see, this board itself is roughly around to 4,000 something. And if you look at the previous board, it's like around 2,000 something, right? Around 2,600, like roughly about another 8,000 rupees you have to shell it by yourself, right? The other choice was we buy and give it to ship it to you. Again, there have been lockdowns. There's a chance that it may get broken while shipping, right? Eventually, we thought we will not, for the online students, we will take the different approach, an approach called simulator. For example, when you talk about this particular CAN board, right, instead of giving you this board, our team has given another mechanism called PICSIM Lab. Okay. So PICSIM Lab, again, it is a simulator, okay, which you can install it in your PC itself. You don't need to buy the hardware. And this particular software will simulate the board. If you can see here, the board, it's a simulation of the board which is shown. Okay, and whatever the source code that you write it in a real hardware versus you are writing in a simulator, there is a very 2% of change that you need to make whenever you are running in a hardware versus in the simulator. You just need to, we just need to basically change the port number. That's all. Okay, but in terms of your learnability, in terms of your learning effectiveness, between whether you're learning the real hardware or using the simulator, there is absolutely no difference. Okay. In fact, I don't know, even though it's slightly out of topic, we launched a free internship program for college students in their third year, and we, taught them how to do this programming. Let me just show you my LinkedIn profile. There have been tons of kids who built a lot of this. We just concluded yesterday. Let me just show you. Okay, one of the students, for example, right? This is what they built. You can see here. Let me just maximize that. You can see here, you can see a microcontroller. This is what the project that they built. It's called a microwave oven project, right? You can see the temperature control, controlling the fan, right? A lot of peripheral control, etc. Okay, all the things they're able to do. You can see the fan is getting rotated when the temperature goes to some level, right? So completely we'll be able to do using this particular board itself, simulator itself. There are a lot of kids who are putting now. They're all very happy. A free internship, what they're able to build. A lot of videos are coming, and this is an example of more than what we would have prepared. They would have prepared wonderful videos. This is the way you code, and you can see, you can set various options in the hardware. You can just look up for this. They're all they're putting in YouTube. They're all very happy. Third year itself, they're able to build something like this, right? And then yes, Chandabasappa is bringing in another point, sir. We are ready to pay. Absolutely fine, Chandabasappa. We can share you these links. Okay, you can order this by yourself, and it will reach you. For example, if you look at BeagleBone, it is available in even Amazon, right? You can just go and buy it, and you can practice on your own. Okay, absolutely no issues. And when you tried in hardware but it did not work, there is an issue. You ready to support? Yes, no problem. Okay, but some majority of the students were having the difficulty. These links you can ask your mentors later when those modules start. Okay, you can buy, connect your laptop and work. Absolutely no problem. Okay, but we don't want the similar lines. For example, for the embedded Linux, we have another thing called QEMU. It's another emulator for the processor. We use this QEMU to emulate. For example, we want to emulate a ARM hardware. You can see in a PC itself, you can emulate this particular ARM processor. You can see here, right? It's emulating an ARM. Okay, so that's where you will learn. Instead of BeagleBone board, embedded Linux module, you will learn from QEMU. Okay, so this is another way in which we are learning via online, via simulators. Okay. So let me just go back, continue. Sorry, yeah, covered everything. Oops. Yeah. So you hope you understand the meaning of intervention, what I meant. It's very detailed explained. Then we discuss about the mechanism. There'll be a classroom. Then classroom itself you do practice, and then you have labs, which is delivered via interventions. Then we have simulators, what we said. And very importantly, whatever you do in Immersi, I talked about feedback, right? Everything gets evaluated, whether it is an assignment, whether it's a project, right? You can ask the doubt, and everything comes with a deadline. The mentors will be giving a deadline within which you need to submit the output, right? And then they will assess you, and they'll give a grade. They'll talk about in the subsequent steps. And then, anyways, in Disha, we do all the resume prep and other preparatory activities, right? So let me just move on. I think we discuss in depth about this. Then learning mechanism. And then the skill gain, right? When this methodology kind of gets module after module, day in and day out, when you go through, okay, that's when the skill improvement happens. Okay, we divided the skill into basically 3 levels in our online course. The moment, as I told, you finish your Linux systems, C and C++ programming, you complete that, and this is where after you complete your level 1, you can actually start applying for placements. When I told in the initial calendarizing, right, after 3 months you can start applying, you can start your placements here, right? So that's when you can go and tell in the market, say, hey, I learned something, at least I built 2C projects, right? And I know good amount of Linux. Okay. Again, in the level 2, you move on to subsequent modules. By the way, guys, Linux you will learn at 3 levels. For example, when you start with Linux systems, it is, you can say, you are learning Linux at level 1. And when you go to Linux internals and TCP/IP networking, you learn Linux at something called level 2. And then embedded Linux, you learn Linux at level 3. Linux you will learn at L3, right? Okay. So Linux system is where you start using the Linux as a user. You learn about the various commands in Linux, various compilation and tools that is available in Linux, and then how do you set up a development system using Linux. So that's what you'll be learning. And then when you go to Linux internals, you learn the next level of Linux, which is about using Linux system calls, using the multitasking programming, multi-threading, interfaces communication, network programming, socket programming, TCP/IP networking stack, whole bunch of stuff. And level 1 and level 2, you are running the Linux in your desktop only, the PC based learning. Then you move to the next level where you run Linux in a target hardware. In your case, you'll be running in a QEMU or a BeagleBone hardware if you are going for a physical hardware. So that's when you learn, right? Then, of course, the other thing comes when you're learning the C++ programming, which I mentioned. And data structure is where you take your learning to next level by writing linked list, queues, stacks, searching, sorting algorithms, hashing mechanisms, etc. Right? And microcontrollers is when you learn about the what you call the bare metal programming. By the way, guys, if you've done an Arduino programming, okay, that is not the way to learn real hardware programming. That's where the FixSim lab, which you're talking about, that is a bare metal programming where you really need to understand the low-level details. Okay? For example, in Arduino, majority of the time people use APIs, right? And include a header file and call an API done. LED on, top of LED will get on, right? Whereas if you want to do the same in PIC, you need to understand the board schematics. You need to understand the read the data sheets, right? Understand the registry settings, how to set a particular bit, how to make it happen, right? So that's when you'll get into the hardware and software combination. The question that Shivakumar has asked, right? That's when you learn the real hardware software combination, where you are working in a zone between what you call an electronic or electrical engineer and a software programmer, right? That's when you do that, right? And as I told you, all the polishing activities in terms of your resume, NSDC certification, I talk about the skill certification and get placement. So this is how your skill building journey works, but the methodology will remain the same: class, intervention, assignments, labs, support, right? Assessments, projects, etc. So assessment system, as I told, everything goes through an assessment: attendance, assignments, projects, weekly test, module test, and finally we'll give you the progress report. So when I say progress report, it's not like a class or a school, right? This project report is mainly to show you how well you are doing with respect to the skill building. Okay. So the higher the zone you are, the better you are with respect to placements. Because what we are seeing, our performance in the course and how well you are able to crack the placement puzzle, they're having a very close correlation. For example, let us say two students in the same batch. Let us say there is a student who are from 2018 pass out. Let us say that student is having, let us say, 65% in their engineering. Okay. But whereas there is a student who is at 2021 passed out with a recent batch, but is having, let us say, 74%. As I already told you, okay, in our placements, this actually doesn't matter much. How well you've done. For example, this 2018 student, let us say he scored 70, whereas 2021 student, he's in red zone, right? What is the reason means to say, when you go to placements, even to get shortlisting, right? This student, this 2018, even though he's little old batch and then he has a lesser academia, companies don't care. In fact, we are also transparent about it. He said, oh, yeah, you are 2018, so what? You did a different job and you wanted to improve your skill and come, right? They value that. Okay, but what you perform in our course, which is important, for which you need to spend at minimum 5 hours, which I mentioned. Right? So please pay very close attention to this. This is what is going to be a differentiating factors. I know, guys, it's already 9 p.m. Okay, your stomach may be, longing for dinner. So please put up with me for some more time. As I told you, if I need to run the slides, I can very well finish in 1 hour and go. That's not my intention, right? Okay. Hope you all can stay back. Okay. Can I get some response? Okay. And more questions you ask, I'm fine. I can even, some of the inductions went till even 10 p.m. If you don't, 3 hours we are continuously had. Okay. As long as you guys are engaging, I'm fine. Okay. By the way, it won't go for another 1 hour. Don't worry. We're almost 80% done. So then comes all this disha, where we do all the prep or the finishing touch in terms of preparing the resume and attending interviews, workshops, preparation sessions, question bank, etc. Which is more about what do you call the prep related activities, which will get you ready for the interview. But please note, you need to do your 80% of the work. Then only resume will look good. Chuma by writing resume will not get a job, right? Then only we'll do workshop and go, right? Okay, don't do that. Okay. And we'll come to the last part about placements. We have discussed good amount of points in the beginning, but I will cover in this section placements from a process point of view. Okay, we discussed almost all the points about placements, but we'll cover how the placement process works. Okay, let me grab some water. Right. So how the placement process works, right? As I already shown you, all of you will be part of the Google group. And then you saw our job application looks. We share all the information about the company, salary, year of pass out, which module you should have completed, etc. You can check the eligibility and apply. Okay, as I told, we are having a Google sheet there. Soon we'll be using it a different, our own login based solution, but you can apply there. And once you apply, it reaches our placement department. We do a screening to ensure that the right set of students are applying. Because what happens, some student out of excitement, even though they're not eligible, they'll apply. Okay? They may not be, doing a proper checking of that. But we'll filter those students, and then we'll share it with the companies. What we call it as an external shortlisting or the company shortlisting. So here, when the companies are shortlisting, they may shortlist all the students, or sometimes they may apply some additional filter. And majority of the time, the additional filter happens to be how well you guys perform in the course. As I already told you, two examples: a 2018 and a 21 student who are having different percentage. Our merit in the in the system will be valued much more than your academic credentials. Then the students who are shortlisted. Anyways, all the shortlisted names will come in the group. You already saw that in Excel. And whomever names are there in that group, they will again go through they will be again shared with the subsequent information in terms of when is the written test, when is the interview, and by the way, whenever you are going through either on a placement process, I'll share you the mobile number of our placement manager and his email ID. You can reach out to them anyways. Especially it's challenging for an online student because we recently resumed our offline classes, right? They're there anyway. They see us face to face. They can approach us. But if you're remotely studying like an online student, it is very important to get that support. So our mobile phones, emails will be always reachable. You don't need to worry. Okay, until you get an offer letter and you go on board, we'll take care. Especially our placement manager Lokesh, which I already mentioned, he will take care. Okay, so no issues until you go and join first day and report. Then only we'll say bye bye and move on to the next phase. Okay. There's a question here. Sunil says, sir, is a trainer who is teaches and different from the assignment evaluator? Yes, Sunil. That the teacher who is delivering the virtual classroom, he'll be the class mentor, but the guy who evaluates your assignment will be a lab mentor. Sometimes, yes, the class mentor can act as a lab mentor, but that is pretty rare. Okay, your class mentor and lab mentor will be different. Okay, because class mentors are mainly focused on the classrooms, right? And then lab mentors, they're mainly good in evaluating you, supporting you. They've been doing that kind of a role. Okay? They're different people. Okay. So if you get a doubt, who clarifies? Primarily lab mentor, Sunil. Yeah, of course, in the class, like how you are asking me now, okay, you can very well do the same with the class mentor. Okay, you can put it in the chat, they'll clarify you. But after the class, you have some doubt, right? How do you seek your support? Primarily, you need to put it in the WhatsApp group. Okay, the lab mentor is the person who responds. Class itself, you can clarify like this in a live. But over and above, we also created a forum in the Moodle or in our LMS. You can post there also. they'll respond. Okay, live doubt clearing, the class mentor will take care. Asynchronous doubt clearing, as and when you are finding a doubt in our support hours are from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay, but sometimes even they come after 7:38. We don't mind, right? Our mentors even end up answering even little late in the night or little early in the morning also. Okay, as long as you have the interest to learn, we don't have any problem. Okay, hope that clarifies, Sunil. So placement eligibility, what is the important eligibility here is to have a minimum first class in engineering, at least you should have 60%. That's when we have the, that particular thing holds good. But in case if you are having less than 60%, as you already saw some of the job application, they, especially startups and these type of organizations, they even open up for everyone. They say any era pass out and any percentage can come. So you can apply for such companies, right? Okay. And there is a placement eligibility test and then the assignment completion, if they are 40%, 70%. It is not very strict. That is from our guideline perspective. Okay, in case if you have the what is less than 70, suppose I complete 60%, will I be allowed or not? You will be allowed, but this is a recommended guideline. Okay, if you do well, then your placement is kind of assured, right? You will be able to clear the interview very easily. Okay? So job roles, I think we discussed this also when the point of AutoSAR came into picture. Ours is a horizontal course, okay, which will fit into any of these verticals. And companies hire for different roles. For example, they hire for testing role, they're hiring for tuning, customization, bug fixing role, application development, okay, sporting. As I told, right, in my career introduction also, the embedded system has got various layers in the architecture, right, the embedded software. So, you can think like a row and column format. An aeronautical company can come and hire for a testing role, right? Or an automotive company can hire for a board bringer role. Or another consumer electronics company also can come hire for a this one. Or a telecom company may come and hire for a testing role. An IoT company can come and hire for an application development. This is like a permutation combination. It varies from company to company. I would suggest don't get too bothered about this vertical horizontal combination. First, get into a core job, then subsequently you can decide whether you want to become a specialist in one particular area. So that comes after at least 4 5 years of experience in the company. Yeah, this is other important points. Like you can start applying after level 1. Attendance and following the instructions are the key, because it's all practically driven. As we initially discussed, aptitude, basic electronics, and final year project, you need to prepare on your own. I guess we discussed in depth about it. And the vertical and horizontal will vary. Okay? Don't have a distinct saying, only in IoT I want to do a low level bring up jobs. No, in automotive I want to only do an application development. Okay? Don't have that specification to start with. Get into a particular company, then subsequently you can decide later. Okay. Now we are coming to one very important point called placement blacklisting. So please pay very close attention to that. Right? In fact, there was a question from Chenna Basappa in the beginning about saying that, sir, can I take 2 job offers? Right? I said no. It is related to this. Right? As I already told, company-specific package, terms and conditions, and which model, everything is made upfront clear to you. Okay, I even showed you the job application. As I told you, if you're not comfortable with any of the points, don't apply. But when you apply, when you get shortlisted, when you go and get a job, but when the offer comes through, if you say, no, 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 I can't join the company, right? Then that is not acceptable. As I already told, my job is to ensure that both Sunil and Saravanan and Channavaspai, all guys go with one job, right? Not one guy gets 3 jobs, another guy doesn't get any, right? So you will be blacklisted. So when I say blacklisted, you will not be allowed to continue with placements. You can continue the class, you can continue the lab, apply for certification, no problem. But your placement will be stopped. Okay. The second condition when you will be blocked from placements is if you bunk any interview or a test. There's a written test schedule, but you're not attending. There's an interview schedule, but you're not attending. Yes, on the day of interview or the written test, you might not feel well, or there is somebody who's, there's a personal emergency, whatsoever maybe. In such cases, you're supposed to inform us. Yeah, at least tell 24 hours before, call location, message location, or WhatsApp, email, anything is fine. We just need an intimation saying that, sir, because of this reason, I'm not able to attend. So we also will tell the companies saying that, hey, this particular student Sunil, looks like he's not well, he's not coming to interview tomorrow. They'll say fine. They also understand that they call 20 students. There's a possibility that one or two student may have issue. Okay. So because we, as I told you, we have very high level of trust with the companies also. So we need to do a balancing act. Third thing, especially for you guys, you need to keep in mind. You guys have told me I have some work experience, and when working in this company, we completely trust you. Okay? Even your year of pass out, when you say I'm so and so CGPA and percentage, we completely trust you. As you saw in the group itself, right? Every day so many placements are happening. We don't have time to verify each and every data that every student does. That way we'll end up doing that only. We'll not be able to share it with the placement company, right? But after you get selected, the company will do something called document verification. I hope people who are working will be able to easily relate to this. During the document verification, suppose any information that is presented by you found out to be false. That is, you provided a fake experience certificate, or you hidden some information from the interviewer, etc. Okay, then they will take it as an integrity issue. Okay, then also you will be BGV, it's say that background verification, right? So that's why as a working professional, even if you get a job from your through us, right? Please ensure you serve your notice period, get a proper relieving letter from your previous company, terminate your employment in a graceful manner. Don't get up one day and run away, right? Because many people think that's a very smart thing to do, but they end up hurting in the long run. In fact, recently there was a student from the lateral evening batch. He got an offer from Qualcomm, and he ended up having 1.5 months of notice period. Right? Then we somehow, he said, "Sir, I can just run away and join tomorrow." Okay, to the Qualcomm. Qualcomm also. Then we caught hold of him and said, "Boss, you're not going to do that." Okay. Then we discussed with Qualcomm. We discussed with that student, and then he negotiated that 45 days of notice period to 30 days of notice period. Then we said, you are not going to join Qualcomm if you don't get a relieving letter from your previous company. Maybe it will look like smart thing to do at that point in time, but in the long run, it's very, very bad. It's in fact, it will be look very bad on your professional career also, right? Don't do this. And last one, as I told you, Disha, especially when our mentors are conducting interview preparation sessions, they even conduct mock interviews, right, to ensure that you guys are prepared well for the interview. You are not supposed to be absent for that. Again, if you're not well, you inform us. We'll also, the mentor also will understand. And then imagine there is a scenario where the mentor is opening up a virtual interview like this, right? He is coming and you are not there. Okay? So please don't put yourself into this, and we are very, very strict about this. And in fact, you all guys asking many questions, right? Okay, in terms of assignments, say, sir, I need some more support to learn. Or sometimes they say, sir, I have not learned the C module properly. I want to do it once again. Okay, we say, no problem, please attend. You're attending 2 times C programming means you don't need to pay us 2 times fees, right? Okay. In terms of learning, we are very, very flexible. Okay, we wanted to learn, want you to learn well. In fact, even after you get placed, you can continue and finish the remaining modules. Absolutely fine. But this placement thing, we are very strict, as I already told. This breaks the trust, because let us say one student in Emergy does this mistake, it will break the trust of Emergy with the company, and they don't come for the next batch, right? And we build this. 70% of the companies are repeat recruiters because they trust us, right? So please don't, as you know, in our personal lives also, it takes years to build the trust and takes minutes to break it, right? Okay, so you don't be the reason to break the trust. And whenever locations or a mail that you are blacklisted, then people will dial me, and then they'll call the parents. Parents will call you, sir, my son, he forgot, and then I will not be able to listen to any of these reasons. Okay, you'll be, once you're blacklisted, means blacklisted. Okay, so please don't put yourself into the situation. Okay, be a professional, and so that all of us get benefited out of this, right? So some FAQs about placements, I guess we already discussed. Let me ask, you guys should answer. Okay, till how long I'll get placement of Am I audible now, guys? All right. Yeah, there is a connection drop. Okay. In my audio side. No problem. Okay. Thank you. So, what is the difference between internal and company shortlisting? As I told, internal shortlisting is more what we do as a company, as our department, to ensure that the right set of candidates are applying. And companies might, add some more criteria. It could be the merit that you have with respect to emergency rating, etc. Okay, that is also possible. Last question: how can I get more shortlisting? Let me see who gives the right answer for this. I'm eligible, I applied, but there is a chance that I might not get shortlisted. But how do you get more shortlisting? Yes, I can get more shortlisting with more projects. That's a very good answer. Okay, more projects. Other thing is that what, score well in emergency. Okay. Be in the green zone. The more projects you do, actually you'll get more, benefit here. Okay. Yes, can one back out after the shortlisting stage? Dia, we don't encourage you that, okay? Because that also gives you some kind of a bad impression to the companies, right? Okay, saying that the student no longer interested to attend the interview, right? Okay, better don't apply. Okay, if you're uncomfortable, don't apply. But yeah, you can do that in worst case, but so that you can avoid getting into blacklist. Okay? We will not blacklist you if you come and tell, sir, I applied, but please, due to some reason, I applied urgently, please stop me. That's still okay. Okay. But I would not encourage you to do that. Okay. All right. So last point about the certification. Anyways, NSDC, I'll just quickly show you our certification and what you will be getting. So this is one sample certificate, one of the batches and is opening randomly. So this is a certificate, you will get it from the Skill India, what I mentioned. It's from Ministry of Entrepreneurship and Skill Development. There is a cabinet minister for this. I guess now it's Dharmendra Pradhan, if I'm not wrong. And it comes from them. Then we will sign and put our institute seal and give it to you. This is what you can have. Good to have, because this is always a government certificate. But if not, anyways, we'll give the emergency certificate. Not an issue. Okay. Let's come to the last slide. Do's and don'ts. Regularly attend, as I told, attendance is the key. Work as per what we say, because we know this is this process works. So many people have gained benefit out of it, including your friends who have recommended you to come here. And any issues, please discuss. In the next slide, I'll show you how to approach us. Okay, continuously improve. It's not necessary that in the first module itself we can score well. Scoring a little slow, improve in a continuous manner. Okay. Last part, learn from your peers and classmates. Okay, instead of the mentor teaching you, you guys help each other. Suppose Diya attends an interview, she can come and share it with Kiran, and Kiran can share his experience with Channabasappa, and Sarvan can add his own points. You guys can learn from each other. Okay. Don't, as I told, don't miss the classes. Don't assume things, okay, because there may be always some rumors floating around. Say that, hey, this batch nobody got placed and there is no kind of opportunity. Don't worry about that. In case if you have any question, anything, you can always reach out to us. Now I will just show you in the subsequent slide how you can reach out to us. Okay. And by the way, if you are finding any difficulty with a mentor, okay, suppose a mentor is teaching, you're not understanding that particular mentor, tell the mentor itself, himself or herself. They will understand, okay, and they'll help you. If you're not type of people who say, oh, you cannot, you can complain against me, right? The mentors, I tell my students all the time, please see mentors as your partner in your success. Okay? Partner with them. And his best interest is to ensure you learn well, and then so that you can crack the placements, right? Okay. And any issues are there, you are always welcome to take it up with us. Don't get into a negative mindset and get into argument. We'll always, if there is any conflict, we'll professionally we can sort it out. Okay. So what are the action items? As I already told, this is how your support will work. Lab mentor is your primary guy who is available to contact. Of course, you can contact your class mentor like how you are asking questions. Over and above, if you need any support, you can always reach out to our student affairs manager. I'll share the details shortly. Okay. Subscribe to the Google group, as I told you, to get all the placements and announcements. Okay. That will be our medium to communicate. and you will get a login credentials. Okay, so there are a couple of questions here. Kiran says some companies get one designation, and after reaching the final interview stage, they make us enter in different. In that case, what can I do to prevent it, sir? I don't know what you mean by question Kiran, when I say designation. So I will say there are two things here. Anyways, we'll discuss later in our workshops. There are two things. One is like designation, okay, and then another thing is role. Okay. Okay. So what I've been always discussing is about the role. Your role should be an embedded engineer performing certain responsibilities, right? That's what our focus is. Designation, if you mean they'll give software engineer, firmware engineer, senior firmware engineer, if you're referring to that, I would say you don't need to get bothered about that. Okay, focus what is your role is, because role only will give you the benefit in the long run. Okay, don't chase titles. What is there in a visiting card is secondary. Okay, okay. So hope that's clear, Kiran. Channa Basappa says, where will you get a recording link? As I told you guys, so this session, today's recording, I will send a YouTube link, right? Okay, because you don't have the LMS access yet, right? But classes, the recorded classes, you will be shared via LMS. Okay. Not only recorded videos, all the materials, any exams, quizzes, everything will be there in LMS. Okay, so LMS will have videos, quiz, reference materials, exams, everything will happen via LMS. But anyways, I show the TRL also, right? Yeah, thanks, Kiran. So TRL is a technical resource library which you can go and refer, right? Energy.com/embedded-systems. This is our TRL. Okay. These three are the resources. And over and above, if you need any additional reference materials, anything, I'll give you, right? Tons of reference materials are there. Okay. In fact, some of them say which book to buy. Okay, that's also there in our. You go here, it's got just to show you this. Interest. Let me just show you one example. Suppose I go to course materials. So here you can download the slides, booklet, any other reference guides, tutorials. And if you want to buy a book, say that no, sir, I feel like really reading from a book, we put up a link here. That if you want to buy a book, click here, it will go to Amazon, you can buy it. Okay. So over and above any other handouts, any specific prep materials they're giving, right? Mentors will keep sharing you. It all will reach you via LMS. Okay. All right. So that's the last but one slide. Okay. So laptop, I hope all of you must have a laptop, otherwise you can't attend this session, right? We'll be helping you to install the Linux. That will be your first class in terms of you getting started with the course, right? Your first class will be install Linux in your desktop or laptop. Then your Linux systems class will start. I'll announce this, class timing shortly. Yes, you can use it in VMware, Sunil. Okay, you can. Some students prefer to do it with VMware or VirtualBox. Some want to have it as a native installation. First class, our lab, our system administrator, Mr. Christy, will come. Okay, Christy will take the installation, session. He's our system admin. Okay, he will help you with the installation. Then the class mentor will come. Okay, then the lab mentor will come after enough classes have been covered. Then, because in initial days when you start your classes, initial probably for a week there won't be any labs, right? Because the class mentor is still building the basics and it's a first module. Once the class mentor covers enough syllabus and they can start the assignments, then the lab mentor will pitch in. The class mentor himself will communicate when the lab is going to start. That's when you can come for that 1.5 hours of labs thrice a week. Okay, that's how it works. And last but not the least, please take a screenshot of this screen. Okay, this is very important for you guys. How you can reach out to us. Anyways, you're already in touch with Asma for your fees, etc. Then you can reach out to our student affairs and placements in the given email ID and phone number. Okay, you can WhatsApp us, call us, email us. Anything is fine. Can all of you please take a screenshot of this and save it, and later please save it in your phones also. Okay. Basappa says, sir, laptop having i3 with 4 GB RAM can hold working. Should be okay, Basappa. Okay, you can check with Christy. He will help you. Okay, good session. So that's it, guys. We are anyways. If some of you are from Bangalore, if you want to come see us face to face, we are still in hybrid mode where some of our staff are coming to our institute and working. Some of them are completely working from home, and some of them are hybrid. Like say for me, I go twice a day to office, and remaining days I work from home. But anytime, nevertheless, if you want to come meet us, say hi to us, you are more than welcome. Okay. So now what next? Your next session today being Thursday. Let me give me a minute. I'll just go offline and tell you your next course of action. Let me also. Can you also turn on your camera so that we can see face to face and say hi to each other? Anyways, now bandwidth won't choke, right? I'll have to request I'll have to come in video, please. That's me. I hope my face is visible. Let me tell you your plan. Windows. Your next level of classes. My team has sent me the timings. Let me pick it up and share it for almost. My daughter is calling me for dinner. I'm sure pretty much the same with you also. Uh, so let me put it in the okay. So those are all your lab and class timings. As I told, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. will be your class, and 6 to 6:40 p.m. will be your lab thrice a week. Okay, Monday to Friday they're telling. I think thrice a week is what they do. And since today is your installation class, there's a slight change in the timing due to certain adjustments. Let me tell you, you need to come. Yeah, your next step is would be that's a regular one. Okay, but there is some planning here happening. So tomorrow no class. Today is Thursday, right? Tomorrow you don't need to come. So Saturday 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Okay, installation class. Okay, so use the same link and join us on Saturday 2 to 4 p.m. only for that day. Okay, Monday onwards you are going to come at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Okay, and once the lab starts, lab will come in the previous 6 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. Because we typically start the batches on Tuesdays, but Tuesday we had a physical batch. We started a batch in the center, so we are doing it today, Thursday, right? So we wanted to push it by one more day. That's all. Is it clear, guys? Only coming Saturday it will be at 2 p.m. Rest all the days it will be this thing, right? Okay. Saturday I have working in my company. Shivakumar, maybe you try to adjust for that one day. Somehow you can manage. Okay. I would recommend that. Anyways, the installation, the session will be recorded and given to you. Okay. Please try to manage that. I would say one day. Okay. Anyways, apart from that, it will be in the evenings only. Okay. Is that clear, guys? Is this clear? What you need to do next? Okay. Cool. Okay. That's all. Okay. So hope this session. I know it's pretty long. Okay. It's almost like 2.5 hours. As I told you, guys make it interesting. For me, the same slide. Your questions and your interaction is what brings in difference to this induction. Okay. So I hope this session has given you insights, enough insights about the course placements, how you do day to day. And please follow the instructions mentors are telling. I will not be able to. I do Disha workshops these days, but not very active in the classroom side because I'm more on the placements and more on the online and the business side, right? But yeah, our mentors will be there, lab mentors are there. We have 3 support lines in the admin support and placements, right? Reach out to all of them. Just follow what they're telling, and I'm sure you all can, get into a very good results in terms of placements. Okay. So I wish you all the best. Okay. Hope this session was useful. Take care these days. Stay safe. It's dinner time. Okay, it's 9:30. See you guys. Okay. Bye from my side.